Hi there, welcome to this video looking at the features and functions of Symphonic AI. If you haven't already, please take a look at the short overview video to get a feel for the library. In this video, I'm going to be looking at the nuts and bolts of Symphonic AI, guiding you through the interface and features. I won't be demoing many of the sounds, so if you just want to hear a performance of the presets, head to the Instruments in Action video. There are lots of examples there. So in this video, I'll just be demoing simple sounds as I demonstrate each parameter in turn so you can hear what's going on. Symphonic AI is a collaboration. The performances have been captured and edited by Red Room Audio, and the powerful animations and transformations are programmed by Sample Logic. There's a lot of scope for exploring the presets and using them as jumping off points to create your own personalized sounds. So let's get to it. When you first open the library, you'll see this main interface screen, where each instrument preset is made up of 4 different elements called cores. And each of these has an orchestral sound source and animated effects. The center section is an XY pad for mixing between the 4 different cores. At the top, you can access the various browsers, and underneath that go to the 4 different panels which are used to program the sounds: Core, Step, FX, and Master. Before I delve into the individual engines, let's look at the interface and signal flow. Symphonic AI runs in the full version of Kontakt and is one big NKI instrument, with all of the browsing and sound shaping capabilities built into the interface itself. Each sound starts off as an orchestral source. You can see those in each of the 4 cores here. Each of the 4 sounds is run through a separate step animator and dynamic effects sequencer. Then the audio from all 4 cores is summed together via the XY pad and passed to the master section, where up to 6 effects can be used. At each stage in this chain, there's the opportunity to either program parameters yourself or choose from the hundreds of preset combinations. Let's look in a bit more detail. To start exploring, the main instrument browser at the top in the core window should be your first point of call. Click here to open it. From here, you can browse the presets by scrolling up and down, or you can choose one or more tags and filter the presets. Click on the little heart next to a preset to favourite it, and these selections will be remembered even if you close and reopen Symphonic AI. Previews of the 4 cores used by a preset can be seen just here. The 3 filter buttons here, Source, Step Animator and Effects, can be used to load only the elements of a preset that you want. For example, if you like the step animation of a preset, but you want to change the orchestral instrument, then use these filter options to only load new source performances. So that's how to load an instrument preset using all 4 cores. But it's also possible to load individual cores, sources, and step animator presets from this window. The various buttons at the top left here take you to the relevant browsers and presets. You can use these toggles to activate and deactivate each core and their respective step animations. Or use the solo buttons to preview individual cores. So you can quickly see that from just this one browser window, it's possible to access and change many elements of your sounds. Back to the main core panel now, and it's worth pointing out that you can also get to the individual core preset and source browsers from here as well. Just click the names in each core. I want to point out some of the new features of Symphonic AI over and above some sample logic libraries with similar engines. First off, in the source browser, it's easy to find a particular type of instrument or section. There are standard hall and close mic versions of each performance, and many of them have multiple velocity layers, all pre-programmed, so experiment by playing with harder and softer key presses to activate these. Towards the bottom of the source browser, there are also some basic synth waveforms to layer with orchestral sounds. The various different instruments and performances also have variable key ranges, depending on the natural range of those instruments, so they're all color-coded for easy identification, matching the meters. For example, see the colored key range change just here as I click through some different instruments. When two or more cores are active, the key ranges may cross over each other, and that will be indicated by keys colored yellow. It's also possible to adjust the key range for each core from the main interface window. Just click into these three dots and you'll get options for MIDI range, as well as the opportunity to transpose that MIDI range and pitch shift the samples themselves. At the bottom you'll also find output channel options for if you want to assign each core to a different output of Kontakt for separate post-processing. If you want to reset an instrument preset to default, just click here. And of course you can save your own creations too. A few more things to mention within this main interface. Each core has its own dials for volume, panning, attack, release, velocity, and energy, which dials in a powerful combination of compression, saturation, and distortion. There's a low cut filter and also a high cut filter, which has resonance and intensity controls. Click above these dials to access the LFO automation for the filters, including different LFO shapes, speeds, intensity, and fade-in time. The intensity parameter has its own 16-step effects animator with presets and a draw function. The XY control at the center here controls morphing between the four cores, either with presets, your own recorded movements, or live played externally via MIDI CC. Turn the XY pad on here, choose presets, and activate playback with the play button, which will begin the movement every time you play a new note. To record your own movements, hit the record button, play a key, and then move the XY node. Setup controls for the XY pad, including MIDI CC control assignment, can be found just here. Moving on, the step panel can be opened just here. This is where the orchestral source samples become transformed into rhythmic motifs with complex step sequencing and arpeggiation. There's a lot going on here, so I'll just touch on the most useful aspects. There's more information in the Symphonic AI manual. The default view is an overview of all 4 cores. But you can access the detail of the 4 different cores with these buttons at the side. I'll solo core 1 and open its detail view so that you can see and hear what's happening. One of the most fun ways to play is just to load up step animation presets from this screen using these arrows or the browser, where step animations are characterized into non-chordal progressions, gated chordal transformations, melodic motifs, and the new traditional building blocks. There are lots of options for tweaking, including turning on stutter for all steps, or freezing on a particular step. Step animator play mode can be switched to play forwards, backwards, ping pong, or for a certain number of cycles. The copy and paste controls allow you to duplicate animations across the 4 cores, with adjustable pasting parameters here. There are loads of different controls for each step of the animation sequence, including step type, velocity randomization, arpeggio type, transposition, duration, stutter value, and panning. So as you can see, lots of parameters to help make your own unique patterns. Use the link button to group each core's step animator parameters for universal control. One more thing to mention, the MIDI drag and drop just here allows you to click the button, play a sequence, and then drag the step animation pattern into your DAW to use with your own instruments. Next up, the dynamic effects section. This includes 6 slots for each core with over 20 choices of effect. There are also pre-made presets available just here. Pick an effect from the drop-down menus and then turn on or off with this button. Clicking anywhere else on the effect will open up the parameter and animation options. For example, in the case of the formant effect, the automation applies to the torque knob, but it's different for each effect. Draw your own automation or use these arrows to pick a suitable animation preset. The master panel sums the signals from all of the 4 cores and gives you 6 more effect slots to play with, your choice from over 20 different effects. There are preset chains too, just here. Each effect has multiple controls, and some, like the compressor, cabinet, and convolution reverb, even have their own range of specific presets. Let me finish up by walking through the flexible randomization options. Almost any of the various sounds and parameters that I've talked about up to this point can be randomized using the menu just here. Choose the elements you want to randomize and then hit the Random button. This feature really is inspirational, from helping to choose different orchestral sound sources to mixing up the step animators with a predefined scale type for the transpositions. You can even randomize the XY pattern and master effects. You can choose to randomize all 4 cores, or you can pick particular ones. The Random Play button will choose new parameters each time a step animator loop cycles around, meaning that you never hear the same sequence twice. I've tried to cover most of the elements of Symphonic AI without taking up too much time, but inevitably there are going to be things that I haven't looked at. For example, the latch option, quantize controls, the door or live toggle, and all of the various different types of arpeggios in the step animator. For more information, along with more videos and audio demos, head to either samplelogic.com or redroomaudio.com. I wish you many hours of fun and inspiration using Symphonic AI, and thanks so much for watching.